Hidden 16,000 feet up in the Indian Himalayas sits a glacial depression shadowed by the towering Trishul peaks. For most of the year, it is a frozen, punishing environment, completely isolated from the rest of the world. Every summer, as the ice recedes, the remains of hundreds of people emerge from the water. Human skulls and rib cages appear among the rocks, creating a grisly scene in an area where no one should be. A forest ranger stumbled across the site in 1942. Because World War II was raging, British authorities immediately suspected these were the remains of a secret Japanese invasion force trying to cross the mountains into India. Investigators quickly realized that theory was impossible. There were no weapons or military uniforms among the bones. They also ruled out a lost Silk Road trade caravan, since there were no horse or mule remains. A plague burial site was equally unlikely. Sick people rarely hike 3 miles into the sky just to reach a freezing lake. When investigators cannot find a logical reason for hundreds of people to die in such a remote location, a vacuum of facts appears. And in the Himalayas, that vacuum is quickly filled by local legend. Roopkund Lake sits directly on a very old, very difficult Hindu pilgrimage route dedicated to the mountain goddess Nanda Devi. Pilgrims traverse steep, treacherous paths to honor her. According to the oral history of the surrounding villages, an ancient king once brought a noisy entourage of dancers and revelers onto this sacred mountain. This angered the goddess. In retaliation, she summoned a blinding blizzard and rained down iron-hard hailstones, crushing the travelers where they stood. It is easy to dismiss a story like that as a colorful metaphor, but things get complicated when modern empirical science steps in and begins to match the folklore, detail for detail. In 2004, a major scientific expedition subjected the bones to radiocarbon dating. The results showed the victims died around 800 CE, placing them squarely in the era of the ancient pilgrimage route. This model shows what forensic anthropologists discovered next. When they examined the craniums, they found unhealed circular impact fractures, specifically on the top and upper back of the skulls. And by checking the rest of the skeleton, they realized something crucial. There were no defensive wounds on the arms or shoulders. In human combat, people raise their arms to block a strike. The absence of these wounds meant whatever killed them came falling directly from above. The timeline and the trauma pointed to one conclusion. These were 9th century pilgrims struck down by lethal hailstones. Science had seemingly provided a forensic basis for the ancient legend of the goddess's wrath. It is a rare moment in archaeology where the physical evidence aligns so neatly with a 1,000-year-old oral tradition. Researchers packed up their gear, certain that the mystery of Roopkund Lake was solved. Here is the data that broke that perfect answer. In 2019, an international team extracted DNA from 38 of the skeletons. They expected to find a single, related group of pilgrims. Instead, the sample split into 3 distinct genetic profiles. Group A fit the original theory. These individuals possessed South Asian DNA, and they died sometime between the 7th and 10th centuries. But Group B was entirely out of place. Their DNA matched modern populations from Greece and Crete, and Group C was matched to Southeast Asia. This timeline shows the true scale of the contradiction. Radiocarbon and isotope data revealed that the Mediterranean and Southeast Asian travelers died 1,000 years apart from the ancient pilgrims. They arrived and perished around the year 1800. To make matters stranger, a 2023 study of the bones revealed an equal mix of men and women. Their skulls showed severe bone porosity, meaning these people were suffering from anemia and chronic malnourishment long before they reached the mountain. Advancing scientific resolution reveals that these deaths were not a single event. Roopkund acted as a recurring trap for travelers across centuries and continents, claiming groups of people who had no connection to one another. We are now left with glaring geographic contradictions. There is absolutely no historical record explaining why a malnourished group of Mediterranean origin was traversing a culturally specific Hindu pilgrimage route in the 19th century. Only a few of the older skulls actually show the hailstone impact fractures. The later arrivals likely died from standard mountain attrition, extreme exposure, and plummeting temperatures that killed them where they stood. To figure out why they were there, archaeologists rely on a principle called context. This diagram illustrates how the spatial relationship and depth of bones in the ground provide the data required to reconstruct the specific moments of these deaths. Roopkund has become famous, drawing thousands of hikers to the area. Many treat the site like a macabre playground, constantly rearranging bones to stage photographs. Some visitors even pack these ancient human remains into their backpacks as souvenirs. The moment a bone is moved from its resting place, its context is destroyed, permanently erasing the information it holds. We finally have the technological tools to sequence ancient DNA and read the diets of these travelers. Yet human negligence is physically dismantling the site, ensuring the complete truth of Roopkund Lake stays